do an intro real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in this world. Welcome to our Friday live stream with Payment Evolution. My name is Alif, the marketing specialist here at Payment Evolution. And I have with me
Juliana, JTC. We are energized this new year. Welcome to 2021. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, is that a high school thing? JTC, is that a chant you had in the past, or?
It actually, not high school, because I got the C in my initials from when I got married. So, but it was one of my first jobs after getting married. They had a ball with my initials. So.
Oh, really? They chant in JTC?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I got all, I don't know why it got so much attention. I have no idea.
It kind of has a nice ring to it. JTC.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, it does kind of flow. So that's good.
Awesome. Perfect. And everyone who's watching this live stream right now, today we're going to be talking about how to establish goals that you actually stick to. I don't know about you, Juliana, but there's so many goals I have personally for myself where I am so motivated for the first couple of weeks. And then 6 months later, I'm like, oh, what did I write down again? And I realized by the end of the year, I didn't attain my goals. Yeah, have you ever felt that way?
Yeah, totally. I think part of it is like by the end of whenever I would have achieved that goal, I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, remember when I said I would do this? Well, it's okay because it was really just a nice to have, you know? It would have been nice if it happened. But I think when you are strategic about things, then you actually set goals that are achievable. And yeah, that's really like, why have a goal at all? Other, like, you can have a wish, but if it's more than a wish, then you need to be strategic about it.
Right, exactly. Perfect. And we'll probably dive into like the strategies and why goals don't stick, all that good stuff. Just a reminder, if you're watching this, wherever you're watching this, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever it is, be sure to post a comment down below in the comment section. Let us know where you're from, and we'll actually put your comments up on this screen. So you will get a spotlight on yourself if you put down a comment, and we're very engaging. So it's a two-way streak, not just me and her speaking.
Yeah, for sure. And it'll make us feel cared for. We love community, so don't be shy. We love your comments.
Exactly. Perfect. Well, with that being said, let's just jump in. And I guess my first question really to you is, why do you think a lot of people don't stick to their goals that they set for themselves? And considering it's the new year, we're right in 2021, why do you think people generally don't stick with their New Year's resolutions?
I think there are a bunch of things happening there. I think because it's a season of renewal, I think people set goals that wouldn't usually set goals. They're not very goal oriented, or they don't operate with a to-do list every day. So I think there are a lot of people out there that set goals just because that's what everybody's doing. I also think that sometimes we set our goals as too big. The goal that we're after is something that we actually want to see happen, and it's doable, but it's so big that the number of steps to get there are really lost in that, by setting the goal so large. And then the last thing that I think is so critical is that we don't set the right goals ultimately. So I'll give you a quick example. A lot of people, January 1st say to themselves, I'm going to lose X weight, whatever the number is. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. And if that's the goal, if you're the type of person that can get on the scale, see the pounds drop, get to 20 pounds lighter, and you are fully fulfilled, then that's a fine goal. But I know for myself, my goal really is I want to feel more energized. I want to feel more alive, I just want to be healthier. I want to feel good when I move. For me, it's about feeling good. Now, as a result, will I lose weight? Maybe, but I actually enjoy the process of feeling good. So you really have to set the goal accurately for what you truly want. Losing weight for me isn't enough of a motivator.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you said a lot of great things, and one thing I guess I'll add to that is you have to set goals that align with the person that you want to be. For example, if you want to be the world's greatest marketer, if you want to be an athlete, and that is aligned to who you want to be, and what you want to do is work backwards. So this is who I want to be. What are some key things I can do each week that'll help me to get there? For example, I'm part of like a group of friends. We meet up once a month or something like that, and we actually have goals like, hey, we want to be this type of person, and we actually broke down what each month should look like in a public Google Sheets. And now it's interesting because I didn't meet my last goal, so everyone was shaming me, and now like, oh, no more shaming. So I'm like stuck to that sheet. Like I have to be very intentional with everything. So far I'm on track, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think goals should be aligning to the person who you want to be first. So the first question you might want to ask yourself is, who do I want to be, before you even say, what are some goals I want to hit?
Yeah, I think that helps. That is one good question to ask to help you actually set the right goal. I think we're really aligned there. And I think, you said something that you said something without actually naming it, but accountability, those accountability partners, that's pretty huge. And it's hard because I think people are uncomfortable with being shamed, right? With being, like, you don't want to be in a group of, friends that are all trying to gain muscle or lose weight. And I'm using that just because that's the number one resolution people make in the new year is around fitness. You don't want to be the one who's not seeing any progress and everyone else is like, doing super well. So it gives you a push you could never give yourself if you were just operating in a bubble.
Exactly. And I think this conversation is kind of running with the book Atomic Habits. You've probably heard that book before.
I haven't actually.
Atomic Habits, no?
Yeah. No. Please tell me.
Okay. One of the things they say is don't set goals because goals are not effective. First, you want to understand what are some habits the type of person you want to be has, and focus on habits rather than a goal you want to achieve, which is interesting because, for example, for me, I've been really into fitness lately. I was able to lose 20 pounds in 90 days. So I got a fitness trainer and everything.
Wow. Yeah.
And I realized it wasn't because I was trying to lose weight. It was because I saw myself as being a athletic person, and that's who I wanted to be. And because of that, I instilled the habit of following each workout, reducing my calories, and then eventually I was able to hit there. But that wasn't the end goal. It's just more, I wanted to be this person. I just did the habits that helped me to be the person, and then I just attained this goal.
I love that. I love that Atomic Habits. It's this idea that we need to have these micro goals, and like most habits, you can have a bad habit. Lots of people have bad habits, but if you want to create a new habit, and most of our habits generally, like, it's got to be something you like, because it's going to be part of your day every day. And so to think about the micro goal, but also it's not just a goal, it's who you are. So I really love that idea that, you just wanted to feel fit. You like, losing weight was the byproduct of a process you liked anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And one fascinating, especially if you're trying to set like a fitness as a goal for the New Year's, what really helped me, and this revolutionized the way I thought of like fitness and goal attaining, is I didn't like look at myself in the mirror and be like, oh my God, I'm fat, I want to lose weight. It wasn't never like that. It was more that I decided to go for a small run, and I had the Nike Run app. It's like a phone thing. You put your headphones on, and someone coaches you through the run in a podcast style. And in my first run, the guy was like, go slow, like just go extremely slow, to the point where you're like, what the heck is this? So I would run, but it was so slow. And I'm like, what is this? But then the guy was so passionate about running, and he's like, now I want you to look around and enjoy the environment around you. Take a deep breath and just be in a Zen mode while you go. And I was like, what are you trying to do? But I was like, whatever, I'll just do this. And, this went on for a first day, second day, third day. But what I started to realize was, he wasn't trying to get me to lose weight. He was trying to get me to like the process of running, and then I will lose weight. And what's fascinating is after a couple of weeks, I couldn't wait to go for the next run. I genuinely started to enjoy them. And then I started running every day, 2K, 3K, 4K, 7K, eventually 10K and everything. Not even for the sake of losing weight, but just I genuinely enjoyed the zen, the dopamine rush, the high of a run now. And he helped me by first taking it really, really slow, and enforcing the fact that I need to enjoy the process so I can build a foundation for a stronger habit moving forward. Very fascinating.
Oh man, I love that story. I'm really glad you shared it. You should maybe even try and find the guy or whoever's responsible and tell them how awesome it is. And I feel like Gary Vaynerchuk would listen to that and be like, "Hell yeah, love the process," you know. So that really fired me up. I would love to be able to run, and I've thought about it in the past. I have a friend who's run multiple marathons. In fact, she was proposed to during a marathon. They didn't. Well, whatever. I think they kind of had like a little break or something. I don't know. Maybe it was at the end. I'm not sure. But that's how big of a role marathons play in her life. And she's done Ironman, and she's given me some training before. And I was like, I'd really love to say I'm going to run a 5K, but I don't know if I can.
Right.
I've got some hip issues and whatever. And what I realized is like, it's not possible for me to be a runner. That's high impact. I need low or medium impact. And so I was trying to think, but I need that heart health, right? I need a way to do the cardio workout. And so I was thinking about that a lot over the holidays. And I love to dance, and I'm not a great dancer. I never took dancing lessons. Well, I guess I kind of took dancing lessons as like a 25-year-old because I was part of this group that had to do something on stage for 3 seconds. But I've never really known how to dance. And in my Italian culture, we have the tarantella, which is just like a bunch of jumping around and kicking. And like, it's not pretty, but I love doing it. And so we've been doing that in my house, like at least one night a week. We just turn on some music and we all just start dancing around like fools. And so I'm getting my cardio. I'm getting like 20 minutes of serious cardio. I love it. I don't even feel like I did cardio. I just feel like I had a great time. So yeah, like that endorphin rush, like feeling like, oh, that was a good time. And the cardio workout was a lucky, bit of icing on top.
Yeah, exactly. I know I can totally relate. Like I've trained in a dance company in the past, and I love dancing, and I was just going to rehearsals and dance, and then 2 weeks later I lost 10 pounds. Like, what is happening right now? Just enjoy the process.
I always notice that with the people who go on. It's Not So You Think You Can Dance, is it? No, what's the one with? It's the one where they get like a celebrity to dance with a professional dancer.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars. Yes.
Yeah. So at the end of that show, the level of fitness in those like final participants is so inspiring to me. Again, because lost weight and they're strong. Like they can literally, hold a pose in a way that they couldn't before. Everything looks intentional, whereas before it's kind of floppy, and you can usually see that they've lost weight. But again, I don't know that that's the goal. So like, don't get me wrong, there are going to be people where that's the goal. But I actually think that we set that goal because it's an easy one. We think it's easy to say, I want to lose 10 pounds or whatever. It's an easy thing to come to mind. But I don't want to lose 10 pounds. I want to feel healthy every day of my life. And if that means I lose 10 pounds, then great. But if my goal is to lose 10 pounds, I'm probably going to gain it back once I achieve my goal.
Yeah. So. Yeah, exactly. It's after the fact. Like, what are you going to do after the fact? Once you attain it, and now you have to keep it up and everything, right? So it's a matter of building habits and everything. Yeah. So let's talk about, so let's say you do want to lose 10 pounds, that's the goal, but you're not excited about it, but you really should. What are some tips you have for keeping to that goal? You know what I mean?
Okay, so I almost want, I want to answer this, and then I kind of want to relate this all to business. I think it ultimately comes down to, whatever your goal is, and let's say it's lose 10 pounds, because that's a nice even number, and it's something we can all relate to, whatever, or gain 10 pounds, or whatever somebody's goal might be. you're trying to break it down as to the smallest common denominator possible. So if your goal, like let's say you are I don't know, you want to build 10 pounds of muscle. And you're a 17-year-old guy, you feel like everybody around you is just like strong and muscular, and you want to feel that way too. You can go buck wild on lifting weights,
Right.
but you might not be eating enough. So you really need to think about what actually gets me to that goal. I need to work out my muscles. I need to have a diet that supports the building of muscles, and then all I have to do is do those small things every day, and that is easy to do.
For sure.
So those micro goals.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so you said that you think about who you want to be, and that helps you set your goals, and that makes so much sense to me. And I think we need to talk about that, because I don't think that concept, that question, perfectly works for business, but the concept does, right?
Okay.
It's like every not every business, but a lot of businesses have their values, their mission, and their vision written out. And their vision for the business and for the world that business helps create feeds that question. And so if you don't have your vision for your business, setting goals for your business, it's almost impossible to nail those goals on the head, because you need to have a vision for what that goal looks like at the end. So I just really wanted to connect to that, because when you were starting your story, you said, who do I want to be? And you said about not losing the weight. You wanted to
be just healthier and mood is better, and I want to feel better in my shirts, like feel good about myself.
Yeah. You just want to feel good in and out, right? So if that's the goal, then maybe, if that's the thing that you're aiming for, then maybe the value or the vision or the mission, any of those can relate to it, comes down to health. Health is the value. I value health. I see, I envision a future where I age gracefully, and I can keep moving into my old age. And I can stay on the dance floor at my grandchild's wedding because I'm not exhausted and in pain in my joints or whatever. So that's what you're trying to do. Envision that. And then what's that value? And if you cannot dial back your goal, if you try and reverse engineer it, if it doesn't connect with your value or your vision, it's not the right goal.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. There has to be a sense of alignment, essentially. Yeah, and I think the question of who you want to be it's transferable to a lot of different things. If you're trying to motivate an employee, you can't just tell them do this, and then you'll get a Ferrari. You got to understand who they want to be. Oh, I want to be a manager at this bank, and I want to manage $1 million funds. That's the type of person I want to be. Oh, okay, then let me help you get there. Do this, and this, right? So even just motivating people, understanding what makes them tick and what makes them understand their wiring. That's important.
I love that. And you and I don't know, maybe I'm completely delusional and maybe I'm not that special, but I think you and I have a very special kind of approach to accountability and our goal setting in Payment Evolution. We are brutally honest with each other. We have honest conversations that friends would have outside of work. And we have very high standards, and you and I are both we're very high achievers, right? We want the thing that's just beyond our grasp, right? Right. And so I think it's critical to be able to have those conversations. And I appreciate what you just said, because I don't think I've ever asked that question of you. I think I've probably said something like, where do you want to be in 5 years? Mm-hmm. But I for sure have never said, who do you want to be in 5 years?
Who do you
And so like, even just listening to you say that has taught me so much about you. And so I hope any leader watching this right now is like, really listens. The words matter, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you can get a canned answer because that's what was recommended online when someone prepared for an interview, or you can get a real answer. And the real answer, I think, is you're more likely to get it if you ask a question that resonates with the person, if you use language they would use. So yeah, I appreciated that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, to add to that too, like if you want to stay motivated with your goals, or you have goals you want to set for an employee, but you want to understand what motivates them to help them achieve this, I read a book called Your Next 5 Moves, and one of the chapters was really fascinating. And it says,
sorry, you said your next 5 moves?
Yeah, here, let me actually bring it up.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I heard that properly.
Yeah, so it's called Your Next 5 Moves. It's by this guy. I really look up to him. He's like a father I never had. I binge his video podcasts. He changed the wiring in my brain. But he says there's 4 things that generally motivate someone. So whenever he's trying to motivate a salesperson, he needs to understand, this is what he does. He asks them, who do you want to be? And then from there, he would work backwards. And there's 4 criteria, 4 different ways people get motivated. First is the lifestyle, meaning, what is the type of lifestyle that you want in the future? This is a really interesting idea, because I was with a friend the other day, and I asked her, I'm just curious about the concept. So I asked her, like, so I'm going to use a fake name, Maria, tell me a little bit about who future Maria looks like. And she's like, and it's fascinating because she said, I want to have a nice wardrobe. I want to go to work in heels and feel very healthy. And it felt very posh. And, I want to work in a role where I have a nice office, and I can see the lifestyle that she likes, and I can see her lighting up. And it's fascinating because I was looking at her getting lit up, and I asked myself, would I say the same thing? And to me, I don't care about dressing up fancy to go to like a nice office status kind of place. And if a manager motivated me like they would motivate her, I would be completely off, because that's not what motivates me. So first one is lifestyle. Second one is purpose, self-explanatory. They want to be driven for a certain purpose. Third one is really interesting, and it's madness. Someone is really driven by the craziness of the entire thing. There's something adrenaline, exhilarating, just like chaos and just going. And that really motivates them. And the fourth one, and I think I identify more in this section than all the other ones, but it's advancement. Feeling like you are progressing or advancing to either a goal or how you want to develop as a person. There has to be a sense of achievement and progress. So again, bring my friend Maria. If a manager spoke to Maria, it would sound like, hey Maria, you can have all this, and you can imagine yourself in a nice office building with a nice tag on your desk and everything, and you can literally do that. All you need to do is this. How does that sound to you, Maria? And Maria's like, oh, I can do that? Yeah. For me, they would have to say, hey, I want you to know by 5 years, you will have this skill set. You will have, you'll be able to take care of this, and you'll be completely unrecognizable as a person based on who you are. And that would fire me up, not the lifestyle, but the type of person I'm becoming. Advancement into that.
I love that. I wrote them down, and I think I have a really great example to illustrate what you just talked about. So again, people will likely name the wrong goal. So someone might say, I want to be a lawyer. But if you actually envision what that looks like, that, who do you want to be in 5 years? The answer isn't just a lawyer. It would be, I want to be a lawyer that is helping people who can't afford fair, good representation. Or I want to run my own firm. Or I want to be in those stilettos and, whatever. And so the goal changes dramatically based on who you want to be. Because, there could be 2 very driven lawyers that have completely different outcomes. Right. I have a friend who is a lawyer. I have a lot of friends who are lawyers. They're not all bad people. And she works at a firm where, like, their polished, posh look is part of the brand. And their clients, it's a very specific type of client that wants to walk into court with a certain kind of person dressed a certain way. Like I'll never forget when her boss told me that they each have pens with a diamond suspended at the top, and that their whole thing is they're trying to project that wealth, that ease, that level of sophistication. I would never work there. That's not for me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I respect that there's a place for that in the marketplace. But I'm more like, if I became a lawyer, I would have been I would have been the person who goes to class in jogging pants and wants to go to work in jogging pants, you know. Like, and I actually did take a course out of Queen's Law School when I was doing my master's degree there, and students came to class like they were going to the office. Like some of them, like I remember seeing a handful of people in suits or wearing a shirt and tie. So we're all just different people. We need to recognize that. Otherwise, you do what seems like the next step, but that's the stereotypical next step rather than your next step.
Exactly. Everything becomes so clear when you understand who you want to be. There's probably less anxiety about the future, all this stuff. And you know what's fascinating? In my last place of work, a couple jobs ago, they made us do a personality test. And before I did this personality test, I always used to be hard on myself because, you know, you'd listen to interviews of these big entrepreneurs, non-for-profit people and all this. And they're like, they'd always be asked, what motivates you? And they're always, everything boils down to, I want to help people. I want to help.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the core fundamental wiring of the human brain. And I would always hear this. But then like I would ask myself, hey, through my career coaching on the side, what motivates me about it? And I would lie to myself, oh, I want to help people. But really, like, whatever. It felt kind of stale. I'm just like, oh, yeah, sure, I can help people, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started realizing what I really like are the numbers, like hitting goals, hitting like certain webinar attendees or certain income or certain, like social media following or something. That is what drives it. Like I'm pumped after hearing that. Not because like I'm not driven by like, hey, you will help all these people, which is great. Like don't get me wrong. But if you instead framed it as we're gonna put the biggest conference up in this whole entire town and it'll be filled with 150,000 people. Can we do it? Oh, like let's go kind of thing. And in this personality test, I forget the questionnaire. It was a scaling system, and I answered the question, and the result was that there's two sides. One person is driven by helping people. One person is driven by, I believe, numbers and achievements. And when I saw the scale, I thought to myself, oh, clearly help people. I'm a good person. I'm gonna look so hard there. And what freaked me out was I was so far away from that. Like I was on the complete end of the spectrum, and I was looking to the HR lady. I'm like, am I evil? Like this is bad. And she's like, no, this is completely normal. People like you are good in this type of jobs and this. Like if you were in sales, this is perfect for you. And I'm like, oh my God, you're saying I don't have to be motivated by helping people. I can be motivated by other things. And it just completely opened my mind to the concept of motivation.
I love that, like the level of self-awareness that you get by being intentional. If you go with the flow, if you do what just sounds like, you know, everybody's doing and all of that, you know, it's a good goal because everybody has that kind of goal. You're probably missing the mark. And if you succeed, because if you set the wrong goal, you're not likely to succeed because you're not actually that person, right? But if you succeed, you won't be able to sustain it. Because again, you're not that person. So maybe you can fake some behavior in the short term, but not in the long term. And so, you know, if you have a goal that is like, I hate the gym. I hate the gym. I'm self-conscious when I go to the gym. I was not a coordinated child, you know? Yes, it's amazing. But anyway, so, you know, if I think that is the way that I can feel healthy, then I'm dooming myself to never feel healthy. So I need to find a way to define that within my abilities, interests. You know, what process do I actually like? Because values can be achieved through many different paths and through many different outcomes.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see someone's values. You know what I mean? Like you can, based on what they talk about, what, you know, when you're hanging around the cooler, like what kind of things do they talk about? Do they talk about, oh, I got a nice, for example, I'm not gonna say names, but someone in our team, when we had our last Christmas holiday or something, she kept talking about, I noticed, like Versace bags, or he doesn't have the Gucci bags. You know what I'm talking about? And
Yeah,
she
yeah.
always mentioned that, and I was quiet, but I was like observing, like, why is this a motivator for, like, because I don't get excited by fancy shoes and like this,
Yeah.
but it's very evident to me. I'm like, ah, I get it. She is motivated more about the lifestyle and what that brings.
Yeah.
And it was just a moment. I have a friend, you know, she would post a lot of bougie stuff on her Instagram stories, you know, fancy dresses, fancy bags, cool hotels, and I'm thinking to myself, like, like why?
Yeah.
But then I understood, like, oh, that's not what motivates me. What motivates her is this. It's just not me. Very
Yeah. Yeah, and I think school is a really poor representation for what the work world will be like in terms of who you're surrounded by, right? Because you know, I'm not suggesting you wouldn't be friends with this person who's got this bougie account. Sure, you could possibly, but when you're in school, you're sort of all put together, and you end up with friends that, you know, you're not coming together because you share a love of soccer, or you each you love art or whatever, right? Everyone's just there, and that's cool. But when you go into the working world, you will naturally be inclined to the companies that have your values, you know, where the leadership behaves the way you want them to behave, or the way that you value. And so we end up picking teams. We self-select out of other teams, and we pick teams that are right for us. And that can be a learning process, because habits are hard to break, very hard to break.
Exactly. And I think I heard this concept before in like podcasts and everything, but when you're growing up, the problem is you have default friends, meaning the friends you make from school, friends from work. These are your default friends. They're not like your wolf tribe that you choose. And one thing about self-development, you gotta like be very clear about who you hang out with, and you can't just always resort to default friends.
So there's something that has come out of this week for me. I told you on Monday that I'm like super on this goal kick right now, and it's not just because it's New Year's. It's just kind of a nice time to do it. But I'm rethinking, and we've been very particular about goals for our department. But there's one lesson that I learned this week, and literally it just solidified in my brain now as we're talking. But I think this is a critical step in goal setting. The first goal you set shouldn't actually be a hard goal. If you fail it, you did it wrong. It should be the test. It should be the pilot. Because if you get to the end of, you know, the week and you've lost 2 pounds, and your goal was to lose 2 pounds, and you're not excited, you set the wrong goal. If you are, if you step on the scale and you've lost, or you've gained a pound, and that derails you and you go and eat a whole pizza, you set the wrong goal, right? So like the whole point is to set yourself up for success. And how, you know, we want to be self-aware, and we want to pick the right goals, and we want to pick the right timelines and the right steps. But it's fair. You're not giving up if 3 weeks into January you discover that it's not working for you and you adapt. That's a good thing. So maybe instead of considering our goals as hard and fast, maybe there should always be a pilot goal to see if it actually feels the way we want it to feel.
Yeah, I totally agree. If you just pursue a wrong goal for an entire year, you're gonna go to a place you don't want to be. But if you go attain a goal, but you pivot to the right pivot, you'll find the right path. And maybe that is how we should see goal setting.
Yeah. Look at us.
We're having epiphanies in the middle of a live stream.
Yeah, totally. Well, I don't know. I hope that this is valuable for people that are watching, but I know this has actually been really valuable for me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. It's very nice to like vocalize what my thoughts are. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's hard to have like philosophical, like belief type conversations, because we end up, especially in business, we're always talking about numbers and timelines and that kind of thing. But, you know, sometimes the reason you're not hitting the timeline or the number or whatever the goal might be is because of something philosophical. We go back to the very beginning of this conversation, that it's about values. It's about what your vision is. So, yeah.
And I think deep talks are good for your health. I don't know. I heard Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son, say that. He's like, you should have deep talks. They're good for your health. And I'm like, maybe they are. Maybe they are.
That is so cool. I've never heard that like as a saying, like as a title for that, deep talks. And I last year, as you know, I told you that I started a live stream personally because I miss my friends and I love meeting new people. And I in the midst of a pandemic, I haven't been able to get that, right? So I've started this live stream as a commitment to pick a friend I haven't talked to in a while and talk to them, or meet a new person. And what were we just talking about right before then, before I raise that example?
Deep talks are good for your health.
Oh, deep talk. So I've been trying to, like, what is the purpose? Like, what's the topic? Like, every show needs a topic, right? Like, and really it's the deep talks thing. It's the fact that, on a Friday night after work, when I hang out with a friend, or maybe a new friend, like one friend brings another friend along, and I have those deep talks, they're fulfilling. And and you tune into the news, and everything is about what makes us different from each other. And it's good for our health to remember that we're actually connected, that we have more in common than we have that separates us. So deep talks, Juliana.
Deep talks. Yeah, you can follow Juliana. Perfect way to close it out. Where can people find you if they want to see your live stream?
Yeah, let me see. I think I can. Maybe I don't know how to do it. I thought I could change my name on the fly, but I'm not sure I know how to do it. But you can, if you're watching me on watching us on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, you can pretty much tune in at 7 o'clock tonight. That's when I run it. And then the videos will be posted after the fact. So you can always watch a rerun if you are interested. What's really funny? My interview, my very second interview that I ever did, or live stream I did, the personal one, was with my dad. And
I saw that, by the way.
You did?
Yeah,
Aww.
he was very nervous at first. He was like, I like talking, and then you were so like polished, you're excited. Like, I can tell you were enjoying it. And he was a little like
Yeah, he was so nervous. And I was also like, I really should cut him off because he's just talking. But I'm like, if I cut him off, he'll be even more nervous, But that live stream has been so popular. It's really funny and awesome. And it's been popular for, when you think about doing a live stream, you think about, what value can I offer? What new information can I provide? And I think one of the reasons why people are gravitating to that one is just because it was interesting and it was funny, and you can send a message and be like, oh, you give Vince my number. I need some pizza or something, there was no learning goal at the end of it. And yet people liked it the most. So we all just want to connect.
That's
validating.
Deep talks good for your health. Biggest takeaway.
I love it. I'm gonna post that on social.
Let's do it. Awesome. Thanks again, Juliana. We'll cut the live stream here.
Yeah, sure.
Really enjoyed this topic. And again, if you guys are watching this or listening to this right now, be sure to follow us at PayEvo on our social media platforms, wherever you're watching or listening to this. And we'll catch you next Friday at the same time, same place, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, thanks, Juliana.
Thank you, everyone. Talk soon. Happy New Year.